On this edition of Oxford News This Week, a bell will soon ring here in Oxford. The trolley runs between Orion and Oxford basketball and more sports. All this on this special edition of Oxford News This Week. Welcome back to this edition of Oxford News This Week. A new Taco Bell location is one step closer to opening up in Oxford. The Oxford Township Planning Commission approved the proposed site at their December meeting. The fast food restaurant will be developed in the parking lot at Myers. The new building, parking, and landscaping. Zach Michaels, engineer for the Carlisle Wortman, explained that the Meyer parking lot was not developed with ready-to-go outlots, so the property lines will have to be changed.
Part of the property that will be used for Taco Bell is within the Meyer parking lot. Because of modifications to landscaping and because of need for this body to be the approving authority for reducing parking, that's why it's here. Otherwise, minor parking lot modifications would go through administrative review. So you guys are the last stop. There will be no changes to any of the other structures. The buildings are going to be same, the gas station, the main building. Only the parking and the landscaping within the area for the Taco Bell will be affected.
The proposed Taco Bell will be adjacent to the current Chase Bank location off of M24, and that, of course, is in the Myers parking lot. In other news, random power outages have actually been a real issue in the village of Leonard and Addison Township. At the monthly meeting, the Addison Township Board Supervisor Bruce Pearson, along with the Leonard Village President Michael McDonald, are looking into replacing several of the old wooden utility poles. DTE says they're fragile and they are currently breaking at great amounts and great rates.
The problem is this has happened several times now. And once again, it's the explanation is that things are breaking. Well, the last time this happened, we had all new poles put in around the township. And so I think I am going to meet along with the village president, Mr. McDonald, and we're going to start walking the poles in Leonard and find out just how old they really are, because I have a funny feeling they're like what we had. The poles were 1938. So we're gonna get them to improve the service.
While acknowledging the poles are old, some dating back to at least the 1930s, that was according to Supervisor Pearson. He reiterated the inclement weather is not always a favor or factor during the power outages.
So we're gonna force them to start putting some money into Leonard there to update it, because I do know some of the poles there are from the 1930s. And what happened the last time, I think, is the cross beams were just breaking. But anyways, the T's were breaking, and that's what our problem was. And this time, there was no wind, no snow, there wasn't anything. So I think it's just age.
OCTV had the opportunity last week during the ladies-girls basketball game. They caught up with Ava Swiss. Again, she was on nationally America's Got Talent, but it also was a student at Oxford High School. It was on Hannah St. Juliana night, the memorial night, after she sang the national anthem, Not to a Dry Eye in the House. OCTV was able to catch up with her in the middle of the halftime. And hello, everybody. We're at the halftime here, and with a guest of honor tonight also. You sang the national anthem. Of course, we know you as the angel in Oxford that sings, Ava Swiss. Ava, I mean, you were here on Hannah St. Juliana night, a very emotional night anyway. You were able, you knocked out the national, everything you do is great.
Thank you.
How is it to be here, here tonight at the stadium tonight?
It feels really good to be back. You know, I've been traveling so much recently, and when I get to just be able to come home and sing at an Oxford event, it always feels so good.
Well, you make us very proud, and I mean, it's great to hear you when you do what you do. And I always say, when we saw you up there on the big stage, I mean, hey, Simon doesn't like too many people, right?
Right.
That had to be a great experience for you. Anything? I mean, you enjoyed that, right?
It was amazing. Such a positive experience.
And I tell you, you made Oxford very proud, and Oxford, you are going to be, as I say, it's great to have you here tonight. You did the national anthem, and I mean, thanks for coming up and doing this little interview. Oxford basketball doing pretty good tonight.
Yeah, they're awesome. I'm so glad I got to come out and see a game. I heard they were pretty good.
Now, now, you were a student here. What you don't still go here, do you? Or
No, I was a senior last year. I graduated 2022.
okay. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay. Now, I mean, did you used to come to a lot of Friday night games and all that before or anything?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like I came to more basketball games than I did football games because
Football
like
could get kind of cold out there, right?
it can get cold and it's so busy. But I've always loved basketball. It's like my favorite sport, so I love coming to the Oxford basketball games.
I'm sorry I don't know this, but did you participate in any sports or anything, or did you do drama or what?
I did. I played basketball for Oxford
Oh, you
in
did?
middle school. I
Okay.
stopped in high school, but
I wasn't a basketball player either.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I did this, okay?
yeah.
So anyway, I appreciate you coming up. Anything you want to say to the people out there right now? Or, I mean, we're live on the website, actually.
Just that I'm so glad to be back. It always feels so good and so refreshing to be able to come here and just see all my people and sing for you guys and do what I love. And yeah, I love all you guys.
Well, I thank you for taking time. I know you were seated down there and you've had a lot of attention. And we're always happy to hear whatever you're doing. And again, it's an honor to meet you here. And go Wildcats! And again, on Hannah St. Juliana night tonight, and our hearts, are heavy with that
yes.
one too.
Yes. Definitely.
Have a good. We're going to take a slight break again. It's great to have Ava Swiss. Well, one last thing. What do you got planned? What's coming up next?
Well, I just released my first single, Pretending.
Okay.
So I'm kind of working on an EP right now.
Okay.
So hopefully within the next couple of months there'll be some new fun music.
Is Pretending more of a pop or is it country or what is it?
It's considered pop, but it's a ballad. It's
Okay.
a piano-based song.
So
but
how do I'm not really good on the internet. How does an old person like me on the internet get a hold of your CD or record or whatever you got?
So you can listen to it on like any streaming service, like Spotify,
Okay.
Apple Music, Amazon Music, and then you can Google it on YouTube too if
Oh,
you
I
don't
can do
have
that.
it.
I know how to Google.
Yeah,
okay? So-
yeah. So you just look up Pretending Ava Swiss and it should come up. So
Well, I'm going to do that tonight. Ava, thanks a lot. It was nice
Yeah.
to meet you. And thanks for all that you do for Oxford and making us sound really good here, okay?
thank you. It's my pleasure.
As she told us, her new single, Pretending, is now available to you on Spotify Music. Oxford Community Schools promoting an online presentation on suicide awareness and prevention. Again, that is taking place on the 7th at 4:30 in the afternoon to 5:45. The presentation will be presented via Zoom and will be for parents, staff, and community members to learn more about how to start a conversation with youth, risk factors, warning signs, safety in the home, resources for support, and more, a release from the district. The presentation will be facilitated by Natalie Burns. One of the topics is, and the myth, talking about suicide will encourage suicide. The actual fact, talking about suicide not only reduces the stigma, but also allows individuals to seek help and rethink their options and share their story. Other topics of discussion will be risk factors, warning signs, and safety in our homes. Burns is an expert in the assessment and treatment of suicidal youth, psychosocial interventions, and children and families, and suicide prevention in the K-12 school districts. She leads the crisis intervention work with Trails, a youth mental health program, working to make effective mental health services accessible in the schools. There is no registration required. However, only the first 500 attendees will have access to join the Zoom meeting. And the Oxford Library would like to thank you for swiftly filling out their survey. Again, that survey concluded on the 31st. The participants, again, will see some changes at the Oxford Public Library as they evaluate their current offerings, programs, services, and gain a better understanding of what the public wants or needs. The survey, again, very short survey, and everything was, you remained anonymous. They want to just thank everybody for taking part in that. For years, Oxford Township resident Tiffany Stower was a nanny, then a mommy, and now she is a full-time children's book author. Her first book was called Fornax, the Friendly Toothbrush at the Playground. It was a 26 book. The main characters are Maya and her toothbrush. Fornax, again, the plot line, which you can get on Amazon, is the time left that Maya knows just what to do if anyone knows how to have fun. They have, while brushing, it is Maya. Join her on the fun adventure. She is, while brushing with Fornax, her friendly toothbrush. Maya's friends will be able to play on the clean playground, and we'll have to slide over jelly beans and fall off the slippery fun pond. Again, that's all part of the plot of the last book. They will last her. She used dental floss as a zip line and her braces as a rock wall. Again, if you're finding this hard to understand, you might want to read the book. Read on, and she plans on being an author. Other activities, Fornax and the Friendly Toothbrush at the playground, and the Lego from the book Sora, who goes by the pen name Kaylee Smith. Her book hopes to make Maya the Adventures into a series of books. She said that Maya's adventure books are more about getting over something. Sower has lived in the Oxford Township with her family for about 3 years. As for Maya and the next adventure, Sower said it will be probably getting up an escalator. Her book, again, is available on Barnes & Noble and, of course, like we said, on Amazon as well. If you want more information, it is a children's book. I want to welcome another business to downtown Oxford. I'm sure I'm going to be frequenting this place. Detroit Wing Company holds grand opening. It was last Saturday. A large, hungry crowd lined up outside the Detroit Wing Company, DWC, their new location, 983 South Lapeer Road in Oxford Township. Folks were there to celebrate the grand opening, enjoy some delicious food, snag some free swag, and enter the chance to win a free chicken wing for a year. Keegan Kuipers, 2011 Oxford High School graduate, was the big winner. He'll receive free 12-piece orders once a week for the next years. Again, congratulating him. The DWC Oxford is owned by and operated by Adam and Pamela Malarnick. They couple also own stores in Grand Blanc and Davison, founded in East Point in 2015. DWC is famous for its chicken wings, tenders, along with its 19 signature chef-driven dipping sauces. DWC has more than 30 locations. As part of the Saturday grand opening celebration, DWC Oxford donated $500 each to the Oxford High School and the Lake Orion High School athletic departments. Adam and Pamela are big on community involvement, building relationship. DWC Oxford will conduct fundraisers for Oxford High, varsity, and of course junior varsity cheerleading. Again, feel free to stop by and frequent them as they are supporting the community. DWC Oxford is open again 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday. It might be a good Super Bowl thing, right? For more information, call them at 248-301-2812 or visit DetroitWingsCo.com. Sounds like another great place to eat here in Oxford. Last Friday, representatives of the Oxford Downtown Development Authority and North Oakland Transportation Authority drove to Troy to pick up, guess what, the newly tuned up Downtown Trolley Express. According to the DDA Director Kelly Westbrook, the trolley will connect Oxford and Lake Orion downtowns for a month-long Ice Fest celebration, which starts again in just about a week. During the month of February, the Downtown Trolley Express will transport people from Oxford to Lake Orion on Thursdays from 5 to 9, Saturdays from 3 to 9. The trolley runs continuously during these times, each loop taking about 20 minutes to make the loop. In Oxford, the pickup location is a Magic Brownie Box. The drop-off is the Funky Monkey. In Lake Orion, the pickup is located at the Fork and Pint, and the drop-off there would be Broadway Street. Again, that's going to continue to run during the entire Ice Fest, making easy transportation. Starting the first weekend in February, it kind of goes along with this. Stronger Together Ice Fest returns to downtown Oxford and Orion. Just last year, there will be ice sculptures, business specials, and downtown trolley, like I just mentioned, will be running between both communities to make it easier to get back and forth. According to the Oxford Downtown Development Authority, the project and media coordinator, Kimberly Smith, the Ice Fest will last a month in different themes on each week. Each week, ice sculptor Clinton Rich of Clear Cut Ice Sculptures, Commerce Township, will carve out new sculptures matching the themes: Stronger Together, sports, business logos, and retro movies. Thursday nights in Lake Orion will also be live for ice carving presentations. The ice sculptures will be placed in the front of the downtown businesses. They will be there and remain there until they thaw out. Also, one other mention, Galentine's Day, a night out for women to celebrate their friendships with other women. Generally speaking, according to, there will be food, tasting, sales, happy hour specials. Again, a night for the ladies to get together with their Galentine partner. And that's going to wrap it with the news. Dave Kenny's got a few segments. I got to look at sports. We'll be back in a moment. You're staying with us there on Oxford Community Television.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, Mercedes-Benz second best-selling vehicle, the GLE midsize crossover, is getting a new plug-in hybrid variant. The 2024 GLE 400 E4matic is powered by a 23.3 kilowatt-hour battery and delivers up to 381 horsepower and 479 pounds-feet of torque. The plug-in hybrid can accelerate to 130 miles per hour and do 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. An off-road drive mode enables the vehicle to operate electrically on rough terrain. The entire GLE lineup is electrified for 2024 and includes mild hybrids with a 48-volt system and integrated starter generator. The freshened GLE arrives at dealerships this year. Pricing was not yet disclosed, and it features a tweaked front fascia and the second-generation MBUX infotainment system. Two horizontal louvers with chrome inserts run through the radiator grille. The grille of the outer air intakes features a horizontal chrome accent, and designers revised the interior of the taillights. Two horizontal blocks form the light signet. Ambient lighting with the animated projection of the Mercedes-Benz pattern is optional. Inside, the crossover features a new steering wheel with sensor surfaces on the horizontal spokes to operate the instrument cluster and central display. The high-performance 2024 Mercedes-AMG GLE features newly designed LED daytime running lights, and the front fascia bears the AMG emblem on the hood, a styling change planned for all future AMG vehicles. A software update and larger turbocharger allow AMG engineers to increase the maximum torque of the AMG GLE 53 model from 384 pound-feet to 413 pound-feet. And acceleration from 0 to 60 miles per hour improves to 4.9 seconds from 5.2. U.S. sales of the GLE made in Alabama tallied 63,050 vehicles last year. And in our second story, Ford Motor Company is recalling more than 462,000 vehicles globally for rear-view cameras that may not display images. The recall covers 2020 to 2023 Ford Explorers and Lincoln Aviator large crossovers and 2020 to 2022 Lincoln Corsair compact crossovers, all equipped with a 360-degree camera. It affects nearly 383,000 vehicles in the U.S., more than 39,000 in Canada, and more than 5,000 in Mexico, Ford spokeswoman Maria Boszkowski said. Ford told U.S. auto safety regulators it is aware of 17 minor accidents allegedly resulting from the defect, and it's not aware of any injuries. The video output on the recalled vehicles may fail, preventing the rear-view camera image from displaying and increasing the risk of a crash, while in reverse, according to a recall report submitted to NHTSA. The video information from one or more of the 360-degree cameras, which includes the rear-view camera, may fail to feed the sync display screen during some key cycles, the report states. The issue is intermittent and may recover during subsequent ignition cycles. Once present, the issue will likely reoccur on the same cameras intermittently. As of November 30th, there were 2,115 warranty reports alleging a blue image in the rear camera display. To fix the issue, dealers will update the image processing module software. The U.S. unit of French supplier Valeo supplies the rear-view camera and image processing module, according to the report. Dealers were notified starting January 31st, and owners will be notified starting February 20th. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Do you love local sports? Whether it's Oxford High School or Parks and Rec, you can buy copies of each game. To purchase your copy, call us at 248-628-9658 or give us an email at manager@occtv.org or talk to us at the next game. Hopefully we'll see you there.
Back with you on Oxford News this week. A brief look at our sports. Oxford boys are third in the blue division. The very hard division, Berkeley with a 5-1, Athens 4-2, Oxford stands at 3-3 at 500, tied with Seaholm at 3-3, Stony Creek 2-3, Royal Oak at 2-4, and Rochester 1-4. Oxford Wildcat basketball will continue on. We'll update you with scores, and most games can be seen here on OCTV. In the white division, Oxford girls basketball are second in that area, beneath Farmington. That tough Farmington 8-0-1. Oxford stands at 7-1-0. Berkeley at 6-2, Harper Woods at 4-4, Royal Oak has 3-5, 2-6 Athens, Seaholm at 2-6. Oxford picked up a win the other night against Seaholm. Again, we were there to capture it. Look for that on OCTV. What a night for Oxford swim and dive program. The boys swim and dive team may now have 4-3 after losing at crosstown rivals Lake Orion. But wow, did they rise up to the challenge? The final score was the Oxford 71-115. But that night will be remembered for the state cuts, school, and pool records that were improved times and the recognition of some of the current and past all-star athletes. The next competition for the top swimmers and divers in Oakland County will be coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Saturday, and also February 4th. Royal Oak will host the Oakland County Diving and Swimming Championships that will take place down at Royal Oak Middle School. Just a few weeks ago on Saturday, the Oxford boys swim and dive team, they also had another competition, the 5th annual Boys Wildcat Diving Invitational. The Invitational had featured some of the best divers in the state, and a lot of great records were set that day in the pool. Now we jump over to the bowling arena, or bowling lane, I guess. The North Farmington Raiders visited the Wildcats in Oxford on the 26th of January at Collier Lanes. There were a lot of excitement at Collier's as all the teams participated. The girls of the Oxford continued their steady bowling, winning 24-26. The Raiders young girls varsity and Wildcats dominated. The top bowlers of the Cats was senior captain Macy Strevel. She had games of a 206 and 164 to lead the way. She was followed closely by senior Caroline Martinez, 196 to 145. Senior Tessa Bonk at 180. The girls now have 6 wins, no losses overall. The division, the Oxford boys lost both Baker games for the first time this season and found themselves down 10-0. However, the experienced Wildcats won 6 of 10 individual matches, both head-to-head games, to pull out the improbable comeback win at a match at 16-14. Jason Parsleen, 200 of 185, scored 2 victories to help secure the win. Also winning matches, Xander Brown at 191, Tegan Neal at 222, Jacob Kemeth 201, and Tommy Mace 257. The match was decided until Mace tossed 2 strikes in the 10th frame in the final game. The boys now 7-0 on the season and 2-0 in the red division. The Wildcats had a big performance by JV bowling. Matt Von Corning. Matt tossed a game at 259, 264, a spectacular 523 in the 2-game series. 523 2-game series is the 3rd highest in the state this year. Varsity or JV combined, teams Tri-County Invitational weekend. They'll take on Avondale, and that's up and coming Monday. We'll have the results on next week's broadcast. Congratulating the bowling team as well as the swim and dive team. We'll be back in a minute. Dave Kenny's got another segment. I'll close it all out at the end of this little newscast. You're watching Oxford News This Week.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Some people have a stronger immune system due to their sex, genetics, and previous exposure to pathogens. We all know that person, the one who rarely gets ill. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted that when it comes to catching circulating viruses and bacteria, we aren't all equal. Some people can resist being infected by a pathogen even after heavy exposure. Finding out why could help keep the rest of us in better health. A person may resist an illness because they have recently been exposed to the pathogen that causes it, and their body knows how to fight it off. That wasn't the case for COVID-19, as no one had encountered the coronavirus behind it before the end of 2019. Some people did seem to have some resistance to it, though, due to past infections with other similar viruses. There are at least 4 coronaviruses that cause ordinary colds. In 2021, a few healthcare workers who had never tested positive for COVID-19 despite heavy exposure were found to have had abortive infections, when the virus briefly replicates inside the nose and airway before being wiped out. Their immune systems were found to react to an enzyme used by the virus that causes COVID-19, as well as cold-causing coronaviruses. People may have resistance to infections because of their genetic makeup. For COVID-19, this has been investigated in relation to people's risk of dying or needing respiratory support due to their infection. Earlier this year, Jonathan Cooper-Knock at the University of Sheffield in the UK and his colleagues found more than 1,300 genetic variants that are responsible for raising or decreasing an individual's risk of developing severe COVID-19. Most affected the function of 2 types of immune cell, T cells and natural killer cells. That is to say, the same gene variants may explain why some people avoid catching it at all, says Cooper-Knock. But now that most people have been vaccinated against COVID-19, factors that affect how well people respond to those vaccines may be more important, he says. Other genes may be involved in our susceptibility to different pathogens. About 1 in 100 people with European ancestry are unlikely to be infected by HIV because of a genetic variant they have, which also affects T cells. Another gene variant that affects a different kind of immune cell, called a macrophage, may alter the likelihood of developing tuberculosis, according to a study of an ethnically diverse sample of U.S. people. Given their benefits, why doesn't everyone have immune-boosting genes? The reason is that many genetic variants can have both beneficial and harmful effects. For instance, one gene variant became more common in the British population during the Middle Ages, probably because it boosted the immune response to the bacterium that caused the Black Death. But last year, it was discovered that this variant is now common in people with Crohn's disease. As with other autoimmune conditions, this is caused by the immune system mistakenly attacking cells in our own body, in this case, the cells lining the gut. Take this as a warning that while it may seem a good thing to try to supercharge the immune system, it's really balance that matters when it comes to providing the greatest overall protection. So be careful. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
And that's going to wrap up another edition of Oxford News this week. We want to mention our neighbors to the south, and we always do work with them. Orion Neighborhood Television going to be conducting a food drive at their studio facilities. Again, they're benefiting the Orion, Oxford Orion Fish. Feel free to drop off any type of food in that area, or you can actually write a check. Again, that's Orion Neighborhood Television. They're doing that next week, and we just wanted to make sure we mentioned it here. So if you feel so compelled, feel free to contact Orion Neighborhood Television. Again, I'm sure their address is below my face here, and feel what you can do will be very helpful during this food and needy time. Again, we want to thank those gathering news sources, the Oxford Leader, the Oxford Township Facebook. Also, the credits for photos go to CJ Carnacchio and the Oxford Leader. OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 on the ATT Uver system, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. And guess what, folks? I bought a Roku. And if you are away and out of town, maybe you have a family or relative that has a student that plays sports here in the school or maybe does music or something, pick up that Roku app. You're going to see OCTV wherever you are in the entire world. I'm telling you, it's pretty cool. Watch OCTV programming again on any of those platforms. OCTV is also available to local groups for producing public service announcements. If you have a show idea, maybe you would like to volunteer, give our office a call, 248-628-9658. Once again, thanking producer-director Kyle Snage, videographer Al Campbell, our editor extraordinaire Marissa, Program Coordinator Dan Weiss, Program Director Connie Miller, Station Manager Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next time as, again, we will take a look at Oxford News this week.